Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's great to have you with us for another episode of Sensational TV and a dose of Le Mans Ultimate here at Australian Sim Sport Alliance's Monday series. And what a spectacle. We are at Fuji Speedway, and you can probably see it there. It looks a little bit dreary, a little bit slippery, a little bit, how's your father? And that is exactly what the conditions are, and a lot of guys are struggling here tonight. But don't worry about that. We are at Fuji, round 4 of this championship series, and boy, oh boy, is it cracked up some fantastic racing so far. Unfortunately, haven't been able to broadcast due to Le Mans Ultimate doing Le Mans Ultimate things, and we hope that I will stick around tonight before it crashes. But Colin Black, stick around if you're in there. You're ready to rock and roll with some predictions of how long my computer's going to last on LMU, but we'll find out. Seems to be stable, but that's where we are. We've got Interlagos and Circuit de la Star to be done in the next 2 weeks, so stick around for those as well. But we've got some racing on track at the moment. It is a practice session. We've only got 1 minute and 50 left before that all finishes, and you can just see these GT3 cars starting to get into the pits and reset their heads for the remainder of this session. And this hypercars are here as always too. Harry Lawrence second overall there on the timing tower by only 2/10 over Nick De Silva. So we'll see what De Silva can put to Harry Lawrence. And we've got to get to those championship standings, which we will very, very shortly. But some lovely sounds of those cars going around. They're really, really loud, especially the Cadillacs. And this was not to be expected in Formula One. You don't get the sounds that you normally would at a multi-class grid, that's for sure. You've got the beautiful V8 here of the Cadillac by Harry Lawrence flying around. And then you've got other cars in terms of, you've got Ferraris, you've got Latanzio here in a Peugeot. The French is just absolutely living it up at the moment. You've got Hani Kuri there in a Porsche, and it's good to have them all here. We've got Ben Vintner, who's just decided to rock up the BMW of his. Another nice-sounding vehicle too, so good to see. But these guys, championship is starting to heat up. It's getting a bit spicy, and we'll find out exactly where any of these drivers sit. Got 2 classes tonight, the LMGT3s here. That's a BMW there of Shawnee Jacobs. And then you've got the hypercars on track. To be exact, we've got 10 hypercars and 11 GT3s. So it should be interesting. Should be good to see. And you can see that little dry line starting to appear on the circuit there for all the races. Everywhere else it's a bit slippery. And those hypercars aren't going past at the rate of knots, so that we would normally see them. As you can see, them struggling to put the power down there of Harry Lawrence. So it'll be interesting to see what this brings tonight. But I'm excited. And with practice all done and dusted, we can see the top 5 in those categories. And before we go qualifying here, let's get to the pointy end of it as these guys finish off their last laps, because it is time, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, to go racing. Ooh, we're at Fuji's International Speedway. It's round 4, not 2 of the International LMU series here. 16 turns at Fuji. A long straight. About 1 kilometre and a bit of straight. You can see there. You've got all the suck coming our way tonight. It's going to be revved up and exciting to go. I'll tell you what, 4.56 kilometres around this circuit. And with 16 turns that are pretty hairy at the best of times, we are running the chicane version of this Formula 1 style. So not a straight run up the hill at the back half around turn 10 to 12 there, or 13 as I should say, but a very tight twisty section. We've seen some great racing up there in real life, undercuts, overcuts, reverse switchbacks, you name it, all in the passing department. They're all there ready to go. Qualifying is 15 minutes. It's a private session as always, with the race going for 1 hour. And your 2 classes there, the hypercars and the LMGT3s. The standings are as we stand in the LMGT3 class. Matthew Spinazzi is on top with the hairbrush right next to him, 19 points away. Then it's very close between Brimblecombe, Tyson Robdog, Billy Madison, and then we've got Dick Johnston's love child there in 5th place with Stephen Fleming there. Luke Fleming is his name, but Stephen's nephew. Dylan King, Matthew Herod from Herod Motorsports there. Phil Rando, who knows what he can do with 19 points there, but you've only got 5 points splitting between 6th to 9th at this stage with Lachlan Andrews. Rounding out your top 10, your hypercar standings are as follows. Harry Lawrence leads the field, 61 points, only by a little bit over Muhammad Colombo there as well. So look out for those two having a good crack. Vincent is in 3rd, as we said before. Nick De Silva in 4th place, who has topped the practice session for today. Look out for him to start jumping up some positions as well. Nando Latanzio, Eric Chandler in your top 6. Georgie Fowler, only 1 point away from taking 6th off Eric. And then you've got Harry Curry, Paul Britt, and the man who puts this show on, Gregory Brock, sitting there ready to go in 10th place as well. Looks like we're going qualifying, ladies and gents. It's not 15 minutes tonight. It's 10. They've done me over. That's all right. 10 minutes means more pressure on these guys. And have a look at the track conditions out there. It could be moist. It could be dry. We just don't know. And we're having a look at the moment of Matthew Lamb. He's about to start his outlap. They're all ready to go. There's only about 4 or 5 cars out on track at the moment. And they're all starting to peel out of the pits as we speak. But this Toyota could be right on with Matthew Lamb. He might not be chopping up one of them at the moment, but he can chop everyone else on the track, can Matthew Lamb. So it will be interesting to see how he goes about it. Just running a bit wide there, just experimenting and finding the racing lines. And these conditions right now look a little bit drier than what they were just before in that practice session too. So with that little bit of confidence now coming the driver's way, we're going to see those lap times tumble for sure. While we're on the outlaps here, it's good to have everyone in the commentary box here with me, which is absolutely no one but myself. Solo again, 2 nights in a row. Who would have thought that the vocal cords are getting a workout this time? Well and truly earning the YouTube views here. Good evening to Ron Marshall. Good evening to Sanji Sen as well in the chat. Good to have you along with us for the ride, and you can just see how long it takes here to actually get a lap around Fuji Speedway. Up the final corner we are now, and onto the front straightaway. So this is probably a great time here to go on board with the Lamb Shank himself and see how we do it around a lovely, beautiful Fuji Speedway circuit. Let's get on board with him and get those HUDs up, that's for sure. This will be interesting now. We can see there, you've got braking all the way down into first gear, 90 odd Ks at the apex, and even 70 because you're just trying to get it pointed up. Now it's full beans. The traction control working overtime because it's a little bit slippery there for Matthew Lamb. This is a hypercar we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, as well. So we'll see what Lamb Shank can do. His 4th gear just wide. That's going to be a track deletion for him. That's the time done and all over by the shouting. But we'll stick on board with him just to see how he does it. You can see how slippery it is out there. The car darting left to right, upside down. You name it, these guys have got it, and the traction control lights flashing green there on the dash, so they know when it's ever activated, but it's a full balls to the wall sprint. 5th gear coming into the chicane that we are talking about. Slam it down the gears, down it to 2nd, maybe 1st if you're brave. No, 2nd gear only for him, so that's good. Then we're up into the uphill twisty section. We've got a right hander here, hug the inside, stick to the left, but then drift it out wide right at the apex and cut it back into 1st gear just to get that thing nailed and pointed in. Does so beautifully. 1st gear, 2nd gear, 3rd gear, row it through. Now stick it into 2nd and try to get the straightest exit you possibly can out of this and the best run without slipping away that traction. And then power down the front straightaway of Fuji Speedway. All the way up in the hills, you can see Mount Fuji as well in the background on a clear day, but not here today. And that is a lap there for the Lamb Shank. And it hasn't done anything for him because he is not setting a time on the grid at this moment. So, interesting to see what this man can do further up. Talbot's put the first lap on the board with a 1:25.815 there in the hypercar class. You can see the time difference already. Georgie Fuller's in there as well for 4/10 away. Hanny Curry and Greg Brock 3 seconds away there too. The other times are starting to tumble down as well. Jacobs is still the only person in the GD3 class to put a lap down, and it is still, doesn't matter if it's slippery or not, it's still about 12 or 13 seconds a lap difference between the two classes. Wow, that's the pace difference, ladies and gentlemen, 100%. Shawnee Jacobs, here he goes. This is the man who is on top right as we speak here for this round. And he's going to be trying to set better purple sector times. He got the sector 2 was a personal best for him and the quickest out of his class, if you don't mind, with a 36.694. So he's on for a bit of a sprint here as well. Spinazzi gone from the hypercars back into the GT3s in the Mustang. Very, very quick car and very suited to horsepower as well. They love these types of circuits of the Mustang, so it could suit him down to the ground. We'll keep looking out for him in qualifying, and you can just see how a little bit easier it is with these LM GT3 cars to navigate this circuit when it's very, very slippery and damp out there condition-wise. Beautiful stuff. Really, really nice stuff. It's a good-looking Mustang, that one too, with the prancing horse underneath the, or over the top of the rear wheel arch there, so to speak. And it's still getting closer. The Lambshank has gone to the top, by the way, with the best lap of the night over George Fowler. And 1.5 tenths, in fact, only difference between him and then 2 tenths further back. Not even that, realistically, between Fowler and Talbot. So good showing early on in the session. We're nearly ticking over, well, we have ticked over halfway mark as well. So look out for that, ladies and gents. Look out for the rest of them. We'll show you exactly what the overall pace was on the timing tower there, if we can get that back up. Also, you can see a bit more of a spread down in that mid-pack. We've got 11 hypercars on, and then we've got, well, at the moment, we've got 11 as well in the LMGT3. So it could be very interesting tonight to see what they're doing. But Lamb is still in front, 24.6. He's gone even quicker again. And Latanzio only 0.04 of a second away. This is exciting. What can the Lambshank do here? You can see on his sectors, he's way up. He's 5 tenths up on his personal best here as he crosses the line now. And this will propel him further up the grid. Also, if it hasn't been a lap deleted, as he crosses the line and goes with a 24.1. Wowee, put that up your clacker, he says to everyone else. Latanzio's got something to think about, half a second away. What is Latanzio doing? Let's see where he is on the circuit. He's coming around at this point of time. He has set a purple first sector, so he's even going quicker than the Lambshank as well. This is interesting for qualifying here, ladies and gents. It's a Toyota versus a Peugeot, and this is something to behold. I'll give you the hot tip. He's 7 tenths down overall, but he's set a personal best in the middle sector. Nothing between them at the moment. He'd be about 300ths away from pole position lap time at this point in moment on the circuit. Just got to navigate the final turn here to get it done onto the front straightaway. Look at the car dancing there right on the point of grip adhesion there for the Peugeot. Now he's just got to keep the pedal planted to the metal and keep that wheel as straight as possible as he crosses the line in about 2.5 seconds, and we'll see his lap time come up. He goes with a 1:24.3. So 2 tenths away, but still cements second position there. Cracking driver from him. Spinazzi is still in first place. He is only 2 tenths off Pipping. No, he's not. He is. That's Benny Collins. Sorry, but we're on Benny Collins there. He is 2 tenths away from knocking Matthew Spinazzi off in the grand scheme of things, and you'll see that right now for the top 5. The battling is on. It's still happening. Matthew Lamb, 3 tenths of a second now, has gone even quicker over him. The track is coming to these guys. And you can see Spinazzi, 1.5 tenths thereabouts over Shawnee Madison at the moment in the C8 Corvette. Then we've got the Aston Martin of Benny Collins. Realistically, beautiful, most beautiful looking car on the circuit. My co-commentator, Lindsay Muddle, would be absolutely frothing at this point in time. If he could be with us, it would be great. But nah, that's okay. It'll be fine. Shawnee Jacobs in 4th place. And Chris Fraser are your top 5 for the LMGT3 class. Hypercar is still Lamb on top. Latanzio in 2nd place. Talbot in 3rd. And it's a bit of a spread behind Fowler to Silva. And between, well, I can tell you now, between Fowler all the way down to third last of Hani Kuri, there is only 6 tenths of a second, ladies and gents. It is getting closer. And even in the midfield of both classes are very, very close indeed. So we've got to watch out for that. Shawnee Jacobs has just gone bang and set it on pole with 1:27 left in this qualifying session. And he's taken everyone by surprise. Spinazzi by 4 tenths of a second and thereabouts. Cracking drive in the BMW there for Shawn Jacobs. Can he put it together in the racing? We'll find out in about 3 minutes or 4 minutes time. Oh, that's exciting stuff. What a beautiful way to put that on pole for the last lap. And Shawnee Madison's even bumped up the grid as well. Over Spinazzi, 3 tenths away now. So a bit of a tumble here for these GT3 cars. Right at the dying moments of this qualifying session, under a minute to go. And we have got a race on our hands here. I'll give you the hot tip. If these guys are setting these laps during the race, imagine qualifying. Imagine what it's going to be like during the race. Geez, it's incredible. Lamb still leading 23.9, the first man into him. De Silva has gone quicker again. He's jumped up a couple of positions into second, 2.5 tenths away from Lamb's personal best. But what can Latanzio do? I'm not too sure. Harry Lawrence has set a PB in the first sector, and he's going to improve his own time here. He's 3 tenths up on his best, or 2.5 tenths. What can he do is he crosses the line now. 1:23.4 puts him into 4th place still. Cements that spot by only 0.04 of a second over Latanzio. That is close. 10.9. 8 seconds. Then we've got everyone starting to file through for their last shot at a lap. We've got Latanzio's in the pits. We've got Greg Brock in the pits. A couple of the LMGD3 cars are in the pits. And that is the clock. Done. We have finished qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. Finished. So, where are the lap times coming from, you might ask? Well, we've got Shawnee Madison here setting a personal best in the first sector by a long shot. The middle sector is still a little bit off, but this is 3 and a bit tenths up at the moment. What has he got for the last sector? Is he going to take over Shawnee Jacobs' party and poop it from him? He does not. Unfortunately, 3 tenths away. Couldn't put it together on the last lap. But that's okay. That's a cracking time from him. A 1:36.854. Everyone else is starting to fall to the pits, I think, unless we've got the last runners here. Actually, yeah, we've still got Harry Lawrence. He's only a little bit up, but he only needs 0.04 of a second to take 3rd place off Nando Latanzio. Keep that in mind, ladies and gents. And he looks like he's 0.06 up at the moment over him. So what is this last sector produced for Harry Lawrence? Another drag race down the front straightaway. It seems to be where we're catching them all. But nonetheless, this is looking good here for Harry. Can he pip 3rd off Latanzio as he crosses the line? He can. He even goes up into 2nd. Wow, what a lap there from Harry Lawrence at the dying moments of that one. Takes over Latanzio and De Silva, improving his own time by 1.5 tenths. And that is a cracking end to qualifying. I don't think this man, Matthew Spinazzi's got anything left in the tank. He hasn't. He's pulling into the pits. And maybe even Matthew Herod, has he got around with one? No, he's 1.1 seconds down. So I think that is it. That's qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you want to see. You want to see a bit of biffo. You want to see a bit of argy-bargy. You want to see all that sort of stuff happening. And that is your grid there, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying done on one. Matthew Lamb in the hypercar class takes pole position, 23.942. No one else could get into the 23s but the Lamb Shank himself. So he's well and truly perfectly cooked medium rare style to get into racing. Harry Lawrence in 2nd place there. Very, very nice performance from him. De Silva in 3rd. Latanzio in 4th, and only half a second splitting the top 5 as well. So very, very close. Ben Vintner in the BMW, a bit undercooked. Some of them opted for the wet tyre as well. So interesting strategies there from the rest of them. What will we see during the racing? I'm not too sure. Paul Russell, 7th place. Georgie Fowler, and Hanny Curry, and Greg Brock round out the grid for the hypercar class. And then we've got GD3s out there. Shawnee Jacobs is a leader and pole position getter for that one. Shawnee Madison in 2nd spot. Good performance from him. Spinazzi in 3rd. What could have been for the Mustang. Benny Collins on the wet tyre. Set a lap time of 1:37.278. So only, what's that? That's 8 tenths of a second splitting the top 5 there in the GD3 class. Shawnee Brimblecombe, the hairbrush. Disappointed with that one, I guarantee you. Sitting 2nd in the championship. People wanted to get further up the grid than that. Chris Fraser in 7th. Ash Johnson in 8th, Lachlan Andrews in 9th, Phil Rando, Hayden Marsh round out the end of the grid there for GD3 with Eric Chandra, a late participant to qualifying. Well, yeah, that's it. We've got racing coming our way shortly, ladies and gentlemen. So why not, I'm going to give myself a vocal cord break for just a minute and enjoy the dulcet tones of this, because race 1 and the 60-minute special coming our way very shortly here at Sensational TV. Don't go anywhere. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the rolling start we've got. We are about to go racing, and it is absolutely pissing down here at Fuji Speedway. Dead set in the fair dinkum department. The guys have got all their work cut out for them. Wet tyres are on. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be exciting. We are just a few seconds away from a race start with the green flag ready to go. Who's going to take the chockies here? Is it the Lamb Shank? Is it Harry Lawrence? Is it De Silva? None of these guys have raced in the wet here, I guarantee you. All practice in it. So it's going to be interesting to see And with the green flag ready to go, we are off and racing. And it is a good start there from the Lamb Shank. He has got away beautifully. Lamb's on the outside, on the inside, sorry, because De Silva's trying to get the suck off him as we come into turn one. Harry Lawrence trying the old wet line around the outside. Here's the physics in LMU letting you do that. He's not going to do it out there, Lamb Shank. Oh, nearly lost it, and he's lost the lead there, speaking of which, to Harry Lawrence. So that is a change already for position here at LMU's Monday night series. The Matthew Lamb is really struggling here at the moment. Just got to keep that car on the circuit, and that is all he needs to do because the rest of them are starting to come through. We've got some action happening back here. We've got Fowler on the outside of Russell. Can he stick it fat? And the spray is just launching into the air, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely pissing down here as the rain too. That is what you want to see. You want to see a bit of spice. This brings out the best in the drivers, and the three cars in front. In Russell, we've got Talbot and Vintner all having a good scrap there as well. Benny's right in the middle of this one. And you can see right there, he's defending his line, coming in to the chicane that we can just see as all cars go wide. Talbot's wide. Russell's gone wide as well. So did Curry too. So we've got to look out for that. A bit of scrapping and toing and froing here on the inside. Let's have a look on board and look at that vision there, ladies and gentlemen. That is what they see. They cannot see bugger all. And with that spray coming up, these gents here will be 100%, I reckon they'll be probably shitting themselves half the time around here. And it looks like you can just get the way around that corner on the outside. If you don't go too wide, it might be there. But onto the racing line we go. And it is just a battle of traction. The TC working overtime in all these hypercar class. Fowler's had a mare there coming out. He's going to be a very, very, he's going to be right underneath the rear collar of Vintner if he can defend off a very angry Paul Russell right behind him as we come into T1 once more. Lamb Shank is in the lead again, ladies and gents. He got around Nick De Silva, and these guys have both gone wide. Nearly three of them, or four cars gone wide there at turn one, all pushing the envelope. This is a cracking little scrap. We've got five cars in the battle here. Two wide, nearly 3.5 car wide. What are these guys going to do? Is Henny Curry involved in that one? No, he's not. We've got a little bit of time out there because Henny Curry has just gone wide and lost the position to Benny Vintner. Vintner has overtaken him. This is where all the action is on the track. You see experimenting of the lines there for all these guys. It doesn't look like it's getting any drier at the moment. I'll give you the hot tip. No dry lines forming on the circuit as of yet. The headlights are ablaze and it's nearly darkness here. That is how wet we are seeing it here for LMU at the moment. We'll get off these guys because there is a bit of toing and froing going on here as well. In the LMGD3 class, we've got Shawnee Madison and Sean Jacobs, the two of them, or we could call him Sean Madison and Sean. There's the two of them, Sean and Sean, going over it because Sean Madison's is spelled S-E-A-N, so we'll call him Sean to separate him. But looks like they're really fighting these cars. Oh, that's Spinazzi gone wide there. He's lost a bit of momentum too. So a little bit of pressure off, but so did Shawnee Madison. He's run real wide, and he's going to lose P1 here just at the point of knot. They break into each other. There's Shawnee Madison's on the inside. He's nearly lost it there too. So that is interesting to see. Shawnee Madison fighting that mid-engine C8 around this Fuji circuit in the wet. It's got a pendulum effect about it. And in the best of times, this thing will weight transfer you everywhere. It could be a good thing, sort of go-kart style. Lean it into the corner, get the power down as much as you can. Softer ARBs everywhere if you want to, but you could go stiffer. Either one might work, but geez. It's all happening here. Really, only in 4 minutes of this race. And we've got positions trading everywhere. Look, De Silva and Lamb are still fighting over it at the front between the rest of them. Then you've got the disco lights down the front straight away there of everyone else. And this is a good tussle here. Cracking stuff between the rest of them. It's good to see Shawnee Madison on his best behaviour here at the moment. But Spinazzi is just starting to come to fruition. In this class. We'll see what he can do on the bonnet cam there. It's looking a little bit better there. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. A hell of a lot more windscreen than a hypercar. We've got a yellow flag on the circuit. Someone is around. No, it's been cleared up, so that's okay for the rest of them. We'll see what happens in the grand scheme of things with all of these drivers. Look at them experimenting the lines, just dancing it on the throttle, on, off, on, off, on, off. The traction control absolutely going hammer and tong here for the rest of them. Oh, gee, that was deep under brakes there for Spinazzi on Shawnee Madison. Nearly hit him, but he got away with that one. Luckily for this race tonight, it's all happening. It definitely is all happening. Still, only 0.2 of a second between the Lamb Shank and De Silva. with these guys having a good tussle here, this could be a little bit of a suck battle. Perfect time to sit on board here with Nick De Silva and hear that Porsche ring its tits off down the front straightaway here. Top of 7th gear, 15 kilometres an hour. He's gone for the move. Really, really deep and brave under brakes there for the man himself. Has he got the job done? He has for now, but is it going to be a switchback? No, there's not. Lamb Shank can't get under him. And another lead overall on track between De Silva and Lamb. Very, very nice stuff indeed from these two drivers. Clean and fast. If these guys don't battle too much and just go side by side, well, not side by side, one after the other, Noah's Ark style, they will keep gapping because it is through 2.5 seconds between Latanzio and this pair at the moment. So really, really good to see. What can we produce from the rest of them at the end of it? We'll only find out very shortly, that's for sure. In the grand scheme of things, racing definitely brings the best of everyone out when it comes to wet weather stuff. The real drivers show what they can do. And boy, oh boy, are we getting a good performance from the lot of them here at the moment. A little bit of a battle again. Shawnee Madison here for second place, in fact, over Spinazzi, because Spinazzi's actually got past him right at that point. I think we just missed it on the stream, but nonetheless, it is Spinazzi, it is Mustang versus Chevrolet. 1, 2, or 2 and 3, so to speak, on the track, but nonetheless, really driving the wheels off these cars, trying to find that grip where they need it. The tyres will be screaming at the moment for some dry track, I can guarantee you, just to get some temperature in them, because it looks so wet out there. I'm surprised if they'll generate any more than 80% heat. That's for sure. But who am I to know? That's why I'm up in the commentary box, and I leave it to these guys as well. What's going on in the chat out there? We've got Genjamin, we've got Lucas Keys in there as well. Project Delta as well. Thank you for that. It's been bloody good to have you along and hopefully stick around, because we know what happens here in racing. It gets spicy, just like Shawnee Madison is there. Nearly tank slapped himself out of the race. He was right on the slide there, full Tokyo drift, but managed to pull it up nicely there, and a little bit of a slip angle has sort of propelled him just a little bit closer there to the man in front of him. I'll tell you what, Spinazzi has got his work cut out at the moment. Shawn Madison right up his clacker. Oh no, Spinazzi's nearly done what his last name is in Italian. He's lost the position there though. Shawnee Madison's going to sail past. That's the easiest overtake of the night. Here comes the hairbrush behind him too. So the hairbrush right now can sort of see a little bit of an opportunity coming, and he's preying down on that Mustang. There's two of them going hammer and tong. I reckon Spinazzi's knows he's a bit out of that. Is the Brimblecombe man going to go for a dive? No, he's not, because he's been absolutely saved by a defensive Spinazzi. But around the outside, trailer park girl style we go. 2x2, Noah's Ark. What is the hairbrush going to be able to perform here? Can he get a switchback? No, he's way too far away for that. He's just going to let Spinazzi go and settle down and get himself back into the pace. And look at the puddles on the side of the circuit. The drainage system here at Fuji doing what it needs to do, where it needs to do it, but you can just tell how much water is out there. It's bloody ridiculous if you ask me, but I reckon any Formula 1 race would be red flagged in these conditions. But these guys are not a bunch of PU 55 IASs, that's for sure. They're just going to keep racing whenever they possibly can. That's what I reckon. But you tell me. You tell me, ladies and gentlemen, viewers out there, what do you reckon? These guys are the bravest of the brave in the sim racing. Racing around at this sort of pace is incredible. And De Silva, speaking of which, has well and truly outdone the Lamb Shank. 2.9 seconds now, the difference between him. No one's coming to the pits at all. We've only done 9 minutes of racing or thereabouts. So we've still got 51 left in this. And the boys out there really starting to come to grips with the cars, figuratively and setup-wise speaking, because when the conditions as they are at the moment, it doesn't look too fun to be on a dry tyre if you've opted for that, and I hope none of them have, that's for sure. It looks like they're all on the wet stuff at this moment. This is a cracking little battle, but we've got another one brewing here between Paul Russell and Benny Vintner. Paul Russell's just trying everything up the inside, around the outside, whatever he can do on Benny. Benny's gone backwards at a rate of knots here at the moment. Not the performance he would want to do, especially with these championship proceedings at the moment. And Paul Russell just goes straight around the outside of him like he's standing still. Two hypercar classes looking in two different classes there at the moment. The Peugeot looks like it's very well set up at the moment for a good race between these guys. So interesting. Different cars have different strengths. Still got a wing on it, does the Peugeot for this one. No wing set up for this, but we'll see what they can do. we'll see where he can come. Maybe a late charge there for Vintner. But speaking of late charges, this man, Harry Lawrence, is the expert in that department. He really knows what a strategy is. And he's probably got one of the expert crew chiefs behind him, or unless he's not that, he's got the best of both worlds. He's quick and also can do it too. So good to see that this man is well and truly doing a very good job in 4th place. Hopefully he's a tyre whisperer here tonight as well, because these wet tyres do have a life in them, believe it or not. They will start to wear out. The tread just starts to die off. The wet is what they're made for. And it seems to be one of those things that you have a car. Oh, that was a very big slide there from Talbot. Did he pull it up? He did. Just Tokyo drifted it around the outside. Managed to keep it there as well. Whew, that was scary. That was very scary indeed. But, you can see this field just starting to spread out a little bit there in the hypercar class. But this one has not let up at all. We've got Brimblecombe, Spinazzi, and Shawnee Madison all having a good tussle. Even behind them too with Fraser and Ash Johnston as well. Really doing a good job to keep themselves in this battle. And you can see when it comes to racing that all of these LMGT3 guys know where it's at. Shawnee Jacobs is way out in front. He's 3 seconds up the road. Shawnee Madison has, 3.1. He's got 3/10 between himself and Spinazzi, and then only 4/10 between Brimblecombe and Spinazzi as well. So a good 3-way tussle between them all. The Brimblecombe man just pulled that up there at the last moment. A bit of a clearer view on the bonnet cam. Let's bugger it. Let's have a go. I've done two days in a row of solo commentary. Let's roll on board here and hear this beautiful Mustang make one lap around Fuji Speedway, and turn those volumes up, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to shut up. Well, that was a onboard lap there with the man himself, the hairbrush, as we like to call him, Shawnee Brimblecombe. And you can see a little bit of the clouds just starting to dissipate off there in the distance on the onboard there around that first sector. So maybe some dry conditions coming these races' way here at the moment. Sean Jacobs still leads the LMGT3 class by 3 seconds there over this little pack. And I think at the moment it looks like advantage is going Spinazzi's way, because he's right up the clacker here of Shawnee Madison. No, it's the other way around. Yeah, it is Spinazzi up there, clacker of Shawnee Madison. And the Corvette just looking very dancy on those really tight radius circuit corners. But the Mustang just coming into its own fruition on those sweepers. So a little bit of battles between the cars. They're not equal performance, ladies and gentlemen, as we know. They've all got their pros and cons in the racing department. And with a bit of setup, a bit of rear wing over the rear end of Shawnee Madison's car is probably a good thing to have, but it does hurt you at this section of the track down the front straightaway. Indeed. So something that these guys have to play with and figure out before they
get on track, so to speak. So it could be interesting to see what this racing brings us tonight. A good little battle here between these two, and you can see the hypercars starting to come through. I think that is Nick De Silva. He is. So 44 minutes left of this race. We've only had 15 minutes gone, and these guys are already lapping these cars. Let's get the proper view there and see the pace difference. My goodness gracious me, that camera. Let's see what it looks like trying to navigate your way through the field of LMGT3s. The lead pack here, realistically, that's third place. There's Spinazzi, Shawnee Madison in second, coming his way. And just the difference in downforce is just night and day, wet or dry between these guys. Really, really cool to see on board there with the LMGT3 guys getting lapped already. It's only taken 15 minutes, so probably another 2 times they might get lapped in the proceedings of tonight. In terms of the pit stops, we've been asked in the chat, good questions coming our way. We might have 1 or 2 pit stops, depending on how long these wet tyres last, depending on if the track conditions change as well, if they start to dry up at the dying moments of this race after the guys have started to pit. Well, yeah, it's a little bit wet, that's for sure, but we'll find out. We'll find out what these boys can do out there. That's one of the beauties of sim racing. We just never know what the conditions are going to sprue up here. And now, De Silva, the lead car by 3.6 seconds over the rest of the field in the hypercar class, is now starting to advance his way through and get some clean air. He's gone past the leader there of Jacobs in the GT3, so a long bit of road in front of him that is clear and spray-free. What more do you want as a race driver in the wet? That's exactly the position you need to be in, and it allows you to keep racing very, very nicely. You can see the amount of lock that he is putting on in De Silva coming around the first turn as well. It's just incredible, nearly full lock, trying to get the car to bite and turn in. That Porsche is looking pretty much on rails for a hypercar here around this circuit. Really, really well set up, and he's just driving it, modulating that throttle beautifully, getting the brake pedal sorted when it needs to without any rear locking. The brake bias as well is another thing you have to tune while you're racing, but also conserve your energy as well, because they've all got virtual energies around this in the hypercar class. LMGT3s just have a little bit of fuel that is needed, and you can see the percentage there already. De Silva's using nearly the most out of the top 5. Latanzio's used the most with only 59% left. So at this stage of the race, they might just get to the end if they didn't want to refill it. But the wise thing would be to put it in a little bit more of that virtual energy and see if so it guarantees them really for a fail-safe end to the race, only if the tyres last. So another thing to think about for these drivers, not just racing around at 100 mile an hour, trying to get that race done, nearly 200 in fact, to be honest, by the time they get down this front straightaway. Really, really cool to see. The closest battles on the circuit at the moment is still Spinazzi versus Shawnee Madison. Shawn Madison is 7/10 up the road from him. So a little bit of something to think about there. You can see the gaps there on your screen. 4 seconds now it is for De Silva over Lamb, and look at Georgie Fowler go straight through them all. Just absolutely sails past them at 100 mile an hour, more than the GT3s at that stage of the circuit. It's awesome to see, but that's it. Spinazzi is driving well. He's setting personal best and fastest overall, first and third sector on that last lap, as you saw. So once he gets his eye in, he'll be pretty much there, ready to rock and roll. And now Shawnee Madison's going to have to look out for Russell coming up behind him in the hypercar as well, or the Peugeot. So these guys now getting well and truly lap. Shawnee Madison using all the exit curb that he possibly can around this circuit of Fuji Speedway. It's something to behold, I tell you that. These guys know where the grip is now. They've done enough laps to know what to do, get in their racing rhythm, and end up in that flow state mentally. The flow state is a place we all love to be as sim race drivers, and in real life as well. It's really, really good to see. Look at, speaking of good to see, Matthew Herod is having a good crack here over Ash Johnston. They're really close. They're only within a tenth of each other. Is that a position change coming our way? The Aston Martin bump drafting that Porsche. Oh, right at the point of not, because he's got to look out. Here comes Brocky behind them too. He'll just sit there and wait for him to sort this little battle out and get further up the road, see if he can apex them out of any battling. Greg Brock there putting on the show for all of us tonight. and getting this organised, sitting there in ninth place overall in his class, and this little battle that we're watching on board, well, watching on the track here with Matthew Herod and Ash Johnson is brewing. It really is. Brock still hasn't been able to manage to pass him because right behind him comes Eric Chandler. So Brocky really needs to get his gallop on here because Chandler's just going to sail around the outside and say, "I'll take that position." Done. Now Brock's going to have a bit of a suck down the front straightaway there, and this could be interesting as the Ferrari got enough horsepower over Gregory Brock there. I'm not too sure. You can see the Alpine versus Ferrari, the two Europeans having a good battle. But I think Greg Brock's just going to sit there and just break it in easy as you like. Get past Lachlan Andrews in the BMW and let this race go on. In 10th now is Gregory Brock. Couldn't navigate those LMGD3s at the time that he needed to. And that is ended in a position loss. Great number though, number 35. That's my favourite number. And Brocky is representing that at this stage. Good to see him. And look at this. Now that looks like that was Fraser. Right on the apex there, and Chandler has had to go high. Oh, Brocky nearly braked himself out of that match, and definitely has because he's lost the position again to an LMGD3 class. Chandler's just skipping off up the road. That was hairy stuff there from Gregory, and on the slide and squirrel there too, just trying to navigate an LMGD3. Wow, that is not what you want to have in the best of times. Doesn't matter if it's wet or dry. A squirrely race car is not fun to drive. I can guarantee you that. You want it planted, solid, and ready to go. And these guys are the closest battle on the track, but it is increasing as we speak. 1 second now between 1.5, in fact, between Brock and Eric Chandler. Chandler is on the fight back here. He knows that he can be right up there in the pace department, can Eric? So it'll be interesting to see what and where he finishes at the end of this one with 38 minutes left to go. This could be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Hope you're enjoying the bogan tomes of myself here in the commentary box tonight. It's great to have you with me here. It is just me tonight. No Lindsay Muddle. He has got no power at the Muddle residence. So maybe I think Mr. Muddle should have paid the power bill rather than paying for Lindsay's LMU all access content out there. Whip the credit card out, Lindsay, and maybe give Woolworths a bit of a pun up the arse to pay you some more because they're charging everyone else through the arse. So maybe you can ask for some money and get back in here. But nonetheless, that is me for tonight. And you got me all the way with 37 minutes left to go in this one. Chandler is on the charge. He's navigating his way beautifully through these LMGD3 cars at the moment. There goes Shawnee Madison out of his way, and that Ferrari looking very, very quick in the grand scheme of things over the rest of them. Wow, it's exciting to see for all of them. The closest battle on the circuit, ladies and gentlemen, just as we speak, is this one, Lachlan Andrews. He's trying to find his way onto the back of Chris Fraser somehow. Can he make it happen? I'm not too sure. Not too sure, but, you know, that's okay. We'll just leave it as is. We can see on board there from what he is looking at. You can see every time those little green dots on the side of the dashboard pop up, that is the traction control doing its thing at its maximum as well. And look at that. It's lighting up like a Christmas tree out there. More lights than New York here at the moment in an LMG3 car. Really, really struggling. And he's just taking the dry line there. Here's Lachlan Andrews. Maybe a little bit wider, son. Try to go right wide and then cut back in straight over the middle of the racing line and dart out the other side, go-kart style. Could work. Could work. You can just see in the past from all the other drivers out there in real life how they drive in the wet. You saw some Rainmasters. You saw Anton Senna out there. You saw Michael Schumacher do it as well. Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, to name a few. Always took a different line in the wet. And it definitely helped. Max Verstappen is also a master of that too, but the sim racing expert and world champion, multiple, knows how to do it. And he's doing it very nicely indeed. This is on board here with Lachlan Andrews. If you haven't figured that out yet, in the BMW, you can just see how slippery it is out there. Those clouds are off in the distance, have not moved one iota, and it's still overcast here, but it doesn't look like it's raining on the screen at the moment. So we've got no more rain, just the spray from the car in front, hampering Lachlan Andrews' vision there. and it'll just beat off the windscreen as the faster he goes. So the closer he gets, you can see there it just dissipates, gone. Atmospheric pressure in LMU is at an all-time high there, just blown it straight off. Gone skis, that's for sure. Is it one stint possible without stopping? I said, is Pip. I'm not too sure, mate. I think here, in the grand scheme of things, when you look at all of the racing out there, with the amount of energy left on the hypercars, whether they conserve it or not is going to be the biggest question that we have. And is it going to last the distance? Let's have a look and just see what the top 5 are looking at. See, they've only got between 60 and 50% left, and we're not even halfway through the race. So at this stage, they can go into conservation mode a little bit, but will they make it? That is the thing. I'm not too sure if they make it to the end. This could be interesting, but we also don't know whether the track is going to dry up or not. I think the LMGT3s probably will get there on the fuel rate, maybe not, depending on how hard their fuel usage is. But you can see that everyone is on the wet tyre out there, that is for sure. There is no way to go with that. And the biggest movers and shakers here over the whole field, let's have a look at them. Nothing inside the top 5. They've all had a good crack at each other. And with the rest of the tower coming up, just it says that no one has moved or gained or lost any positions. If that's the case, that is a bloody miracle. That is an absolute bloody miracle. But nonetheless, that's okay. That's fine. We even might just auto cycle this one through, and so you got a bit of everything coming your way there on the overlay for everyone else. But yes, the guys are 1 lap down at the moment in the LMGT3 class. You can see that they're orange next to their little badge. Oh no, Ash Johnson's had a DNF. That is not good for him. He has parked it up, said I've had enough, and he's out of this one. Not too sure what there was. There was no yellow flag on the circuit, so maybe something there coming amiss. Lachlan Andrews is still the closest man on the circuit to a competitor by a fair margin. The average gap, I reckon, here is probably around that 6 or 7 seconds between the drivers here. So it calls for a bit of studying. And that mid-race lull that we always seem to happen in sim racing. And by the time that gets over and done with, we are on to the next one. Who knows? Who knows? But we'll see what we can do. We'll see what happens. We'll see what these LMGT3 guys can deliver up for us. It says 17th overall, but that means he is officially 5th in class. There is Lachlan Andrews at the moment. And he has got a... he's got a very, very good customer in front of him. Don't you worry about that. In Fraser, he knows how to drive a car in the McLaren, and 2 different driving styles needed. With a front engine versus a rear engine car, you need to have the braking markers set differently. You need a throttle trace a lot better in a mid-engine car. Then you've got to really point the nose in on a front engine car, because they are obviously inertia boxed heavier in the front end, because that's where the donk is, as much as they try to get the 50-50 split of weight distribution. You've got a driver on that side, and it looks like Lachlan Andrews is a good driver at the moment, really coming up onto the back of Chris Fraser now. And I think Fraser's going to have half a look in the mirrors at the moment, just to see that Andrews is closing at that little rate of knots that he wants to. And if these guys battle too much, that will bring in a fair few customers into this one. And speaking of which, the Aston Martin right behind them, Matthew Herod, he is starting to close in a little bit now on this gap. So it is a bit of a cork in the bottle situation happening here for Fraser. Not too sure. I'm just not too sure, but they've got to be wary, because they've got a very, very fast Nick De Silva. The leader of the hypercar class has come through with 30 minutes left in this one. He got through him at 45 odd minutes, so he's bang on time here to get around the semi-lead pack here, the mid-pack, so to speak, of the LMGT3 class. And what a time to do it on the front straightaway. He's got 1.5 seconds only now between himself and Lamb. So Lambshank has halved that gap already. 30 minutes to go. It's starting to get a little bit spicy there in the hypercar class. Don't you worry about that. We could see something happening for the rest of them. Let's see the amount of energy left on these boys in the hypercar class. Everyone's under 60%. Nearly everyone's under 50 as well too. Only a couple over. The Lambshank is preserving a little bit, 56% left with the race
in his hands at the moment. He will finish this race at this mathematical proposition, 2 + 2 = 4, quick math for the rest of us, that he will be able to get to the end on no stopping with that energy remaining. 30 minutes has just ticked over, ladies and gentlemen. 30 minutes of racing. We're halfway done. And it's gone like a flash, to be honest, with all this action of Nick De Silva trying to get past him, with Matthew Lamb right on his heels now, only 6/10 away. This could be interesting. Has De Silva realised that he's not going to get there with only half the race left and 43% battery? And as Lamb just started to, screw that bolt a little bit harder in the pressure point onto the back of the neck of De Silva to see what he's doing. Now it's 1.6 seconds at the moment, because Harry Lawrence just trying to get around them as well in the background, and Lamb had to navigate through those LM GT3 cars. So back to 2 seconds now for Lamb versus De Silva in the front lead pack here. Overall on track and in the hypercar class could be very, very interesting indeed. Don't know what you guys are predicting in the chat. Need you guys to give me something. It's we need to see who's going to win, who's going to get P1, 2, and 3 realistically in this class, and we'll see if you guys are right at the end of it. You might get a mystery prize for guessing it. You might not, but give me something anyway to see what we're doing, because it's never over until the fat lady sings here. And with wet weather out there at the moment, and that spray just starting to get a little bit less on the driving line there, it could be a little bit drier within the next 25 minutes or so. And it might just be at that point of not there for these drivers. Who knows? Who knows? But give me something in the chat, and we'll see what we can do. And in the meantime, I think it's time to ride on board and have another session here. Let's look at this man, because this is how you are winning a race, ladies and gentlemen. On board with Nick De Silva. You can see how hairy it is still in a hypercar class, but let's have a listen to the Porsche as he rounds the final turn here for another Daft Punk style lap here. One more time around the Fuji Speedway. And let's hear that Porsche sing for one lap of pure bliss of a hypercar class car around Fuji Speedway. Enjoy. What a lap there from De Silva. And you can see those battery limits really getting to that time where you think to yourself, I'm not going to make it to the end. But Lamb Shank has got 49% left. So he's conserved beautifully here, and there is more than enough time there left in the race for that 49% to not be zero by the end of it. So is De Silva just going for it here? Not too sure how he's going to do it, but we'll see what happens. And the spray is a little bit less on the circuit. You can just see it disappear there from the rear end of that BMW of Lachlan Andrews in front of him. And it's something to think about here for the rest of the drivers. I'll give you the guaranteed
that these guys will be thinking, am I going to get it there? Am I not? Are we watching everyone else? Is everyone else doing the same thing that I am and just pushing till the end? Or is he going to have to pit? Who knows? Those tyres could also be starting to come into a little bit of a wear situation because the race is well and truly on now. It is only 0.4 of a second between the Lambshank and De Silva. This is what we wanted to see. 24 minutes and 50 seconds left in this one. And we have got a battle here for the lead of the race. The Lambshank versus De Silva. See what he can do. We come down the front straight away now. Is he close enough for a slipstream? He well and truly is here. He's only 0.3 away. And that gap is going to start decreasing by the millisecond here for the rest of them. You can see on the timing screen that delta is only 0.3 of a second. Now it's going to be under 0.2. Or is it? Because that Porsche is flying down the road at the moment. Couldn't find any pace there. Under braking though, is he supreme? Yes, he is Matthew Lamb. He's got right up on the clacker of him now. He's right there with him. 0.2 of a second there between the both of them. And they've got a LMGT3 of Phil Rando in front of them to navigate now. Can he get out of the way in perfect timing there? Can De Silva over Phil Rando in front? He can. Gets around him beautifully. Hasn't hampered him too much. Lamb's right there with him. They're both navigating this circuit beautifully. There's no spray coming up from the back of them, apart from on the wet part of the circuit. Here goes the Lambshank. Tried to point the nose underneath. Just running a little bit wide and out of kilter there was De Silva, but he's gathered it up nicely. This track is starting to dry, ladies and gentlemen. Still no dry line, but 23 minutes and a half are left. We well and truly could see one, and it could be time to come into the pits. Has De Silva just counted his chickens early and just been the weatherman? Has he got a weather wall sitting there? I'm not too sure. But geez, he's doing well. He's 0.2 away, 0.3 now. In fact, away from any threat of the shank. Can he just pull one out of the oven and just deliver it to him and throw it at the windscreen? He's going down the front straightaway. I'm not too sure. The 0.2 now, he is about a tenth closer this time around. Now he might have a little bit more of a slipstream go, and I think that gap is starting to decrease again, but it's still a Porsche advantage here horsepower-wise. Really, really close underneath. Just falls back a little bit under braking, or is he going to send it? He's sent it up the inside now as the Lambshank. I think De Silva's seen that coming. He's locked the inside front. That's going to hurt him on exit, and here goes Lambshank for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. 22 minutes, 36 left in this one, and they're fighting over P1, and I think at the moment it looks like Lamb's got the chockies, but there goes, oh no, De Silva has contacted him, and he's punted himself out of that one. Oh, you'll be singing to the high heavens about that. That is the yellow flag on circuit, but he'll get around and keep going, and that is the lead, all done, bar the shouting for De Silva. Harry Lawrence has got the easiest overtake of his life, being promoted up to P2. That was hairy stuff, and it was very, very, very ambitious, I would say, from De Silva, trying to stick it up the inside at the fast left-hand kink. He got up on the curve and slid into the side there of Lambshank and got turnaround. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all it takes here for the rest of them. Speaking of all it takes is Talbot trying to get on the back here of Natanzio. It's only 0.7 of a second away between him and the guy in front of him. So it could be interesting to see, but we'll find out. No, he's just got a bit squirrely there on the edge. Lost 4 or 5 tenths there in a heartbeat. That's all it takes, ladies and gents. This is still the closest battle on the circuit at the moment. Looking really nice is Jeremy Talbot. Very colourful Porsche there as well. In the grand scheme of things, looks nice. Kind of reminds me of a bit of Polaroid and all the old sponsors from back in the day. Very nice to see. We've got 21 minutes, 14 left. What can we see? The lead has just gone from De Silva's hands. He had it all to play for there and didn't shy away from anything. He saw that that was it. And I'll tell you what, the Lambshank has 100% got enough energy to make it to the end here. And with clean air in front of him, he's not going to be using any energy, I can guarantee you that. And with 5.6 seconds between himself and Harry Lawrence, could be all done deal there for the Lambshank. See what he's doing. And looks pretty good to me for a possible early prediction on that one. And as we see back here to the battle, the lead battle, look at that dry line forming now, ladies and gents. The guys are hunting for some wet track to cool those tyres down. There is enough there on circuit to do so as Eric Chandler gets past Shawnee Madison. But Shawn Madison now only 1 second away from the man who is leading this pack, and that is Jacobs. right in front of him, only a second up the road. That dry line is really starting to come in. Is this maybe what De Silva was thinking about? That dry line starting to form in most parts of the circuit now. Is it time enough to come in for a pit to the dry tyres, or will these boyos just stick it fat for the rest of the race in under 20 minutes' time? Well, you're going to find out, ladies and gents. That's exactly what we're going to do. We'll see what they can do, see what happens, and that checkered flag will be waved, and we will have a winner, no doubt. Who is it going to be, though? That is the next question. Is it going to be this man, Shawnee Madison, or is it going to be Sean Jacobs? The battle of the Shawns, or Johns, as they are called in Irish language, Irish linguistics, bilingual Irish slang, whatever it is. I don't know. Celt, I don't know, whatever it is. Limerick talk, who knows? We'll find out anyway, because it's only 0.3 of a second now between Sean Jacobs and Shawnee Madison. So these two are having a good crack, two Jonos. Right at the front here and leading it by a comfortable margin. 3.8 seconds is the gap between Madison and Spinazzi. So first and second can battle it out without any insurance claims coming their way at the moment. And it's just starting to dry up. They both get a little bit taily there. I'd say the Corvette was more taily. And as they hunt for some beautiful, lovely wet surface for those tyres, the spray, however, excuse me, is becoming more and more minimal. As the racing goes on, there has not been any rain for about 35 minutes here tonight. So, that, you know what that means. Dry tracks coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to take advantage of it? Who's got the tyres in the best nick? Who hasn't overcooked those tyres as well by driving too aggressively? You've got to be smooth, ladies and gents, in sim racing when it comes to these mixed conditions. If you overdrive that tyre, you're just driving to a pace, a set lap time, you know, about 1 or 2 seconds slower, will actually get you further down the racetrack and maybe survive a pit stop to the end. So these boys will have something to think about as well. But Sean Madison in the dirty air behind Shawnee Jacobs. His tyres will be getting hotter as the lap progresses each time. Yellow flag out there at the moment. Can't see who it's for, but it's gone. It's dissipated. She's done. So it's green flag racing once again. And it has not been anything boring here tonight. I'll give you the hot tip. The wet tyres are still on all the cars here. If you've just joined us, we've had a change for the lead. De Silva and Lamb fought over it tooth and nail. And De Silva came out second best, probably by his own doing. That's how I call it here in the commentary box. But we'll see what the stewards have to say about that one. Nonetheless, it's on for the lead here. This is the lead of the LMGT3 class. The onboard shot here from Shawnee Madison's car. You'll see what he's looking at. Not much spray coming onto that windscreen. In fact, more bugs than spray at the moment. And he's really close here down the front straightaway of Fuji Speedway. This could be a little bit of a suck. The ladies of the night here at Japan, the geishas, as they would call them, are really, really getting excited. Look at them all in the crowd there. You can see a couple of brave people out there braving the wet there. The ponchos are on, colourful liveries and everything. And look at this, bit of a colourful stuff there from Shawnee Madison, trying to go on around the outside on Sean Jacobs. Sean Jacobs gone really, really late on the brakes there, and I think he's outdone himself for the position. I think that is a change for the lead. It is. So that's Shawnee Madison into the lead of LMGT3 class, right at 16 minutes and 40 odd seconds. He has planted his domination foot and just cock-slapped Shawnee Jacobs out of the way and thought, that's mine for the taking. You make one error, son, and I'm going to plough away off into the distance. But can he do that? That's what we want to see. We want to see some good hard racing here, and there is well and truly no spray coming from any section of this circuit if they are sticking fat on the dry line at the moment. You can see that little dark patch there, and that means dry bitumen. If you're colourblind, it doesn't make a difference. It still looks grey otherwise, I reckon, if you are colourblind. Wouldn't know myself, but that's what that means. And you can see them starting to dance. Those rear tyres are getting hot. Very, very hot indeed. Dodgy Vindaloo style, I would say. And it's going to be a matter of who can underdrive the car. And it looks like Sean Madison is just keeping it smooth as a baby's bum at the moment. Just trying not to oversteer that car. You can see the BMW really, really hurting there in the rear of Sean Jacobs in comparison to Sean Madison's car. Looking very, very smooth and just apexes it beautifully. Gets it on there. He'll go hunting here for some wet racing. Some wet circuit action, I reckon, just to cool down those tyres. Well, if he isn't, he's not doing it now because he's stuck to that dry line maybe thought, bugger it, we've only got 15 minutes here, and we're doing 1 minute 43, so we've probably only got about, 9 laps to go for the LMGT3 guys, or overall for the Lamb Shank. He's probably got a few less with 1 minute 32s in the bank. So this is spicy, ladies and gents. Very, very spicy indeed. It's good. It's good to see the mixed conditions start to come to play, and different drivers start to find some strengths, as we have seen here. Lead change at the moment for Shawnee Madison has got past Sean Jacobs, and they're only split by half a second, which is not far enough for Madison to start getting any sort of relaxed mindset into his brain at this point in time. And they are the closest people on the track. In fact, no, they're not, because Herod is right up the ass of Chris Fraser now. Can he get this job done? He tried so early on in this race to get that perfect exit done, and it looks like as we cross to him, he's got an absolute belter of a run, but he's just lost a little bit there on the first part of the long sweeping left-hander. He's right up the clacker there of Fraser's ass of the McLaren. What can he do under brakes? Nothing. He just sticks it there and just experimenting, but he's going to sail it up the inside too. On the wet stuff, he's going to cool those tyres down. He's going to try and get the overtake done. We've got a right-hander coming up, now. In fact, 2 right-handers. Is he going to stick to the outside? There he is, but he's on the disadvantageous side of the racetrack now, but he's got the job done over around the outside. Easy as you like, just darted it up onto the curb and just gallops off into the distance. Really, really good stuff there from Matt Herod. Cracking driving from him right at the perfect time as well, because there's a hypercar coming up behind them as well. So you'll see him approach in just a hot second. There he is. I think, I can't read who that is. It's one of the Peugeots, in fact, anyway. We all know that. Trying to get his way around these LMGT3 cars. If we come onto the front straightaway there, now we can see it. It looks like it's Russell as well. It is Russell. It's Paulie. He's going to get past him here down the front straightaway. And look at the pace difference now that the track is drying up. It's super, super quick for a hypercar. The lap times are falling. 1:32.446 is the best, and that is a Lamb Shank out in front. He's out in front by 4.8 seconds, so the gap is just decreased ever so slightly, by about a second here in the final dying stages of this one. Has the Lamb Shank got enough energy left? We'll just quickly have a look there as we go through. 29% here, just under a third of a tank, or a battery tank, if you want to call it that, between himself and the start-finish line. And if you do the maths, at 30%, he would have had to been at 20 minutes left in this race to get the job done, or thereabouts. And he is well and truly below that. De Silva is going to struggle. He's on 16% with 12 minutes to go. Ooh, he might just get there. He might just get there in third place and secure a podium after what could have been a race win for him. It's always could have been. This could have been this, could have been that. What if I didn't do this, couldn't do that? Hindsight is always 20/20 in motorsport, but it always happens live, and that's all you got to deal with. That's your cards you've been dealt, and it's up to you and how you play them. And Talbot hasn't let go of Latanzio here at all in 5th place. He's got 4th looking out, and you can see the sun starting to peer through right about now. That afternoon sun's kicking in as they get past Spinazzi on the front straightaway. This will really drive the track out super, super quickly if this direct sunlight gets onto the circuit. And it's going to be up to A, energy level, B, fuel levels, and C, how cool you can keep those tyres, because the track temperature is about to heat up and it's going to get grippy up, and that track's going to be really dry. Look at all those cars in front having a good old tussle. The hypercars trying to make their way through the field. That was De Silva getting through on 1, not 2, 3 LMGT3 cars just at the point where he needed to, because Latanzio is coming at him at a rate of knots. But right behind them is also Jeremy Talbot, who we're just on too. So still not on. Still not over, in fact, sorry, for the rest of the race. Hasn't been any pit stops. Haven't needed to, because the pace is so slow. They don't really use up the energy. But if they had another 20 minutes here, I reckon they'd be all coming in for a pit stop for some hard or soft tyres, whichever one they want to go to. Mediums, probably, in these conditions to circulate for another bit. But now it's just a rate of who can keep it on the track and not spin it off, because the tyres are going to get hot. Very, very hot indeed with this dry line and the sun now starting to peek through. We started this race absolutely proverbial downing from the heavens above, and now it is dry, and it is getting very, very dry indeed. That dry line is now 2 cars wide, 1.5, let's say, 1.5 cars wide. Let's be a bit generous here. And these guys are now having a good old look at the clock, seeing how many minutes they have to toil through this one with the dying stages of the tyres coming through on wet tyres on a dry surface. It wouldn't be fun. If it was me, I would be not doing that, as Nick De Silva just did, but I would just be hunting for a little bit of a wet surface around the track if you can, and keep the pace where necessary, just to give them something to cool down about, because heat cycling on these tyres can help, but it can also blister the tyre if you get them too hot, which means you just tear the living daylights out of the tread of the tyre, and you get a round edge on the tread itself, which makes them less effective at getting rid of that water underneath them as they need to. And keep in mind, they've only really got about a handprint. So if you put your palm out, ladies and gents, and look at it, that's about the surface tension that these tyres have got to keep the cars on the bitumen, and that's how much space they've only got to repel whatever water out of the groove pattern. And look at the Silver, is really struggling here on that. You can just see the differences in that. But I'll tell you what, who's coming at a rate of knots? It is this man, Harry Lawrence. I said look out for him in the strategical department. He leaves it all to the last minute. That this guy came through in round 1 of last season's sprint series from 6th place and took the win because he saved energy and saved his tyres. He did not have to pit. And that is what secures a win. And he's only 2.8 seconds away with 8 minutes to go. Keep an eye out for this battle. Could be getting really, really heated up and really spicy. That is something to behold here as well. Getting into those dying stages of the event, ladies and gents. It's been great to have you all with me here for the show so far. I've had 15 of you all tune in at the one time, which has been great. Hopefully you're all out there and you haven't fallen asleep, because this one is getting really hot now. You can just see Lamb using little bits of energy, but Harry Lawrence is closing in a little bit. He's closing in, but he's got away as Lamb shake over him. Gapped him by a good 0.6 of a second just in that sector alone. So back to 2.8 seconds between these three guys out in front. It's a total spread of 9 seconds from first to third in the hypercar class. And then it is a split of 4 seconds between, or 4.5 seconds between first to third in the LMGT3 class. As you can see now on your screen, you can just see what the gaps are. It's not too far away for Shawnee Madison still to be any more relaxed. Let's put it that way. No more relaxing here for Shawnee Madison. In fact, he's made an error because he's just lost 0.3 of a second there to Sean Jacobs behind him. The battle of the two Seans, or Johns, as you want to say. Oh, no, there goes Hypercar Clark getting right in the way. But Shawnee Madison nearly unforced errored himself out of a race-winning position right with that slipping, because Benny Vinton is about to try and get past him. They've got no obligation to get out of the way of these hypercar cars, the LMGT3 class. They just let them go through whenever is suited best and hopefully not collide with each other. And that's exactly what you do. It's right on board here with Shawnee Madison for one more lap. Let's get the Corvette. This is a flat, plain, cranked V8 in these cars. And boy, oh boy, does it sound good. I'll be back here to call the last 5 minutes.
That's a lap of your race leader in the LMGT3 class, Shawnee Madison. And he's just gapped Sean Jacobs a little bit further back there. You can see it now, 1.8 seconds thereabouts. So a victory possible coming Sean's way in the LMGT3 class. So very, very good drive from him tonight so far. We'll get off him before we commentator curse him out of this one. Let's go back to another little close battle. In fact, there are absolutely none on the circuit, ladies and gentlemen. That's the spread that we've got here at Fuji Speedway. We've got the LMGT3's cars getting lapped by the hypercar classes once again. So 3 laps bang on. Predicted that one right. Is that sun absolutely beams down into the eyes of these drivers as they make their way around Fuji Speedway. That's how fast the hypercar cars are going. The cameraman can't even keep up with them halfway through the corner. Just doesn't know what to do. But look at the track now. It is nearly all dry where they need to be. And Russell is trying to find some wet surface to cool those tyres down. In fact, they might even be now so worn that they're realistically at a slick. Let's put it that way. And there's no point trying to cool them down because it's all over. Phil Rando has come into the pits, actually. The only GT3 guy to do so, and he's right down to the back there in 10th place. Brock has also DNF'd this one too, just missed that one. So he's out of it, the man who puts it all on for us. And hallelujah, so far, it's been a cracking event. I've enjoyed every second with you. It's been good that we can see these guys drive around the circuit at this rate of knots in mixed conditions, from pissing down at the start to now as dry as a camel's you-know-what. And I'll tell you what, these guys doing very well to keep the cars on the circuit at the moment. However, I think a little battle's starting to brew here. We're just within 1.4 seconds. Now is Harry Lawrence over our leader, the Lamb Shank. He's absolutely cooked up a storm tonight as the Lamb Shank. He's been leading it by a good 6 seconds, but at the moment, no, Lamb's into the pits. Lamb has called it in. He's out. He's lost this one. Why would he come into the pits? He had enough energy remaining, I'm pretty sure, to take it out. Is Harry Lawrence going to have enough at the end of it? The master of strategical genius has come through once again and leading this race. I told you to look out for him, and he's still there. Russell's definitely got enough energy to go, but Lamb and De Silva have both come in. So it could be a little bit of a cock-off between the two of them for the last lap. Who can get the final position on the podium? But I think De Silva was too far back to battle Lamb for any of that. But the Lamb Shank had it all in the bag to win, and he's refilled with some energy. Russell's on 11 now. Benny Vintona's got past De Silva too. So Vintona, Lawrence and Latanzio all within 5% of energy. And I think at this point in time, Harry Lawrence just needs to slow down, because 1 minute 31 around this circuit means he's going to have to go around one more time if he doesn't. In fact, no, I thought he was at the last corner. So this is going to be the final lap of the race with 5% left on the battery. I'll tell you what, Harry Lawrence could be crawling over the line at the end of it. Who knows? Is he going to get there? 5% left. He's up to. He's at the pointy end now. This is the final procession of this race here tonight. 60 minutes is all nearly done. 1 minute 14 left on the clock, and it's all been in the hands of this man, Harry Lawrence. Has he preserved enough? Did he foul himself out of this one? We've only got one more lap to go with 5% energy left. Can it hang on for the last bit of this race? I think he's got 18 seconds, in fact, between himself and the next guy on track, which is Nando Latanzio, who's also driven well to conserve some energy. So he's just got to hold it together here for one last go around this circuit, albeit I reckon it'll be the slowest lap of his life if that energy keeps decreasing at a rate of knots. What has he got? No, he's still got 5 there. Has Harry. So cracking driving from him. He's predicted it down to the end. Now it's ticked over to 4. Well, at this rate, he's going to get there, and he's going to win it by an absolute country mile over the rest of them. Sean Madison has also still managed to keep himself going, also in the LMGT3 class. We don't know how much fuel he's got left. Has he got enough to get to the end? Because Sean Jacobs certainly didn't. He's pitted, and 30-odd seconds behind him is now the spread. What can we see here? But I think it's going to be this man. He's about to start to come up to the back here of Shawnee Madison. Sean Madison is probably slowing down, hoping that Harry Lawrence can lap him before the start-finish straight so he can finish his race as well without running out of fuel. 3% battery is all that's left in the tank of that Cadillac. And it's going to be a race win here
for Harry Lawrence as he crosses a line and flashes the headlights there. Has he got enough fuel to get to the end of energy? He has done so. Beautiful stuff there from Harry Lawrence. Takes the win by an absolute strategical masterclass. Once again, 2% left. Same with Nando Latanzio. He saw that coming as well. Although he's got to get to the end, he is still with 2% battery left. Has he got enough in it? He does. As he crosses the line in about 3 or 4 seconds' time, Shawnee Madison has actually pulled it into the pits. I hope to Christ that hasn't meant that he has ran out of fuel for the last one. This could be interesting because here comes Sean Jacobs. In fact, Sean Jacobs is going to overtake him here on the last sector, or is Shawnee Madison finished? No, Sean Madison has finished the race. Sean Jacobs is going to take second place and get that job done. Spinazzi in third for the LMGT3 class as he crosses the line. Ben Vintner is your third place getter there for the hypercar class as well. Well done to all of them. Everyone's still circulating around the field. We've got cars on the circuit. We've still got Nick De Silva. Excuse me. What could have been for him? He punt himself off out of this one. Crosses the line now and finishes in 5th place. Eric Chandra right behind him in 6th place. Only 6/10 of a way at the end of it. George Fowler, Paul Russell, Hanny Curry still circulating around as well for 9th place. And Jeremy Talbot has pulled it into the pits at this moment. So that is your race for the hypercars. We've still got Matt Herod circulating around. No, he's done as well. Everyone's done. So bugger it. Let's have a look at the final standings here for the rest of them. Hanny Curry in 9th place has just finished the race, and he did get past Paul Russell there in the pits actually. So a late finish there for Paul Russell. Maybe ran out of fuel. But nonetheless, Chockies go Harry Lawrence's way. Really, really good drive from him. 31.2, fastest lap of the race as well. So a beautiful drive from him. 28 seconds down the road was Nando Latanzio, who also put on a strategical masterclass with 2% lap left of his battery. Vintner inherits 3rd place. Lamshank in 4th from the lead. Oh, geez, he wished he didn't take that pit stop. He probably could have kept going around. Nick De Silva in 5th. Eric Chandra, George Fowler, Hanny Curry, and Paul Russell, Jeremy Talbot round out the field there for your hypercar class, with Shawnee Madison taking the chockies in GT3s, and a beautiful stuff from him as well. Sean Jacobs in 2nd place, Spinazzi in 3rd, Hairbrush in 4th, what could have been 2 Proton Racing cars, Linus Stern 3rd and 4th. That'll be great if they had points in the championship for teammates. Matthew Herod in 5th, Chris Fraser, Ben Collins, Marsh, Andrews and Rando round out the finishes of the grid with Greg Brock and Ash Johnston. The 2 casualties from that one. That was exciting to see. That is for sure. But that is the racing done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking around with me. It's been a pleasure to have you all in company here for tonight here at Monday Night Series for LMU's beautiful 2-class sprint event. It's been cracking to have you with me the whole time. I've enjoyed it. Been around the traps a fair bit this week, and a well-earned break for me is due. I will be back with you guys on Sunday for AK Racing's round 2 of the Gen 3 Supercars. So stick around for that. We've got Tier 2 and Tier 1 racing live from 5:40 p.m. It might even be a bit earlier if Daylight Savings ends on that night. So we'll see what happens. But local time, keep that bell notification and you will find what happens there as well. But for now, that is ASA done. That is the event done for the evening. Thank you for sticking around here. I've been Zach O'Reilly, your commentator for the evening and host. And guess what? You're not me. So got to live with that. But nonetheless, as always here at Sensational TV, thanks for tuning in. And as always, you know what to do. Keep it flat out.